Fatal Core has Fatal Core has some of the most unique gameplay of any card game I've played in a long time. I'm going to go ahead and start out with a bot match here so I can have plenty of time to talk through some of the details of how the core gameplay works here. I'm going to play the Mavidia deck to start here today. So, in Fatal Core is played using simultaneous turns, and a lot of the information in the game is public, which is excellent. It gives you a lot of chance to predict what your opponent's going to do and then counterplay against it. So when you start with your 6 cards in Fatal Core, the first thing you do is you could mulligan all of them, but this hand has Earth Speaker to start, who has a pumpkin face for Halloween. So she's definitely the card we want in the opener. Her or Lab Grown Failure are usually what we mulligan for, so we're going to keep this. And then I'm going to hide Dark Resonance and Shadow Strings, because these are cards that my opponent will likely want to be able to play around with their effects, so hiding them means we can catch them by surprise, potentially. You can see my opponent here also gets to play with 2 cards hidden, and then 4 of their starting cards end up face up here. Over the course of the game, each turn you draw another card, and then one more time over the course of the game, you can hide a card that you've drawn for the turn. I'm going to start with Earth Speaker because she generates more of herself. You'll notice the boards are played on these 2x3 grids, and every spot on the board has different modifiers in it. The modifiers are different depending on who your lead character is. And this card notably changes the field spot that it goes into to a +1/+1. So we're going to start by deploying my Earth Speaker here in this -1/-1 spot to make this spot permanently better. That's a little unfortunate. Maybe I could have predicted they were going to do that. When this comes into play, it renders a friendly and opposing unit soulless, which is kind of like silencing it. It wipes all the text off of it. So she still changed the field when she came into play, but she no longer makes a copy of herself, which kind of sucks. I'm going to go ahead and just deploy Lab Grown Failure. I want to try and just start generating a lot of units on my board. There's Scatter Shotting, which deals damage to a bunch of my stuff. The way combat in this game works, unless a unit has the special keyword called Hunt, it explicitly, unless it has a special keyword called Hunt, it attacks the opponent's life total directly. So you'll note that I had a 2-power thing and they had a 2-power thing, so we each took 2 at end of turn. We're going to go ahead and play Merciless Beast here. My opponent doesn't have anything with Hunt just yet, but this just has a good stat line. So this is a 3/8, so it'll turn into a 5/6 when I deploy it here. Help us race nicely. So this thing deals 3 damage to itself to summon an Elemental Knight. That's nice. So we're going to go ahead and deploy this Earth Speaker here. So she'll make this spot a 1/1. Ten and 10, and then she summons a copy of herself somewhere. Hide that one for now. So this Expert Spell Thief has a mechanic called Mana Magnet, where each when I play a spell, the spell gets countered, and then this unit gets removed. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and play the Shadow Stirrings just to get rid of their Mana Magnet. So you can see we're a little bit behind on life total right now, but my opponent also is behind on damage on boards. They currently have 8 total power, and I currently have 6, 11, 13 power. And Debased Manifestation here is fantastic. I get to go ahead and just play this out in this spot here. When this comes into play, it gets 2/2 for each other unit I control, and it makes all of them 1/1 smaller. So it basically trades 5 power for 10 power. I didn't comment on it because I was busy explaining the intro to the game, but I think my favorite thing about, and by favorite I mean the most obnoxious thing about them, about people on the right, is like the people describing Biden as a fascist. Like, just the fact that people on the right tend to not know the definitions of the words that they use, because like fascism by definition is a far right authoritarian. So like, if you're saying Biden's a fascist, that means you think he's on the right side of the political spectrum. So like, if you're on the right side of the political spectrum, like, come on now. At least understand the words that you're using. Render a creature on your board soulless, render to a creature on the opponent's board soulless. They're supposed to call him a socialist, but they don't know the difference. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, right? Like, that's one of the other things that's really funny about this election cycle. Like, that's just, it's like, you know, people who are actually on the left want Biden to be more to the left. They're upset that he's not left enough in a lot of ways. And then people on the right are like, oh, he's a socialist. It's like, well, no, he's really not. He's really not. We'd love for him to be a socialist. Can you define fascism? Fucking Google it. It's really not hard. I promise you, words have commonly accepted definitions of them. I'd recommend looking it up in the dictionary or Googling it. Fascism is by definition a right-leaning political leanings. I think I'm hiding the Debased and the Shadow Stirrings here. We have Lab-Grown Failure in the opener. Ideally, I wish we had the Green Gal, but I think this is keepable with Debased, Shadow Stirrings, and Lab-Grown. Basically, the basic idea of the deck that we're playing is I want to flood the board with a bunch of stuff so I can play a giant Debased Manifestation. And if they kill the stuff I'm flooding to the board, Shadow Stirrings can make things out of the corpses. Every console is Nintendo, every politician I disagree with is a socialist. Yeah, basically. It's funny because it's sad. I'm gonna deploy this Lab-Grown Failure. What do they have? This gives things -1/-1. Deal 2 damage to an opposing creature with 2 power or less. I'm gonna deploy my Lab-Grown Failure here because it'll have 3 power. So if they deploy this, it can't hurt Lab-Grown Failure. Extras, thank you for the tier 3. Thanks for keeping me around so I can do that. Tower Knight, thank you for the 22 months. I appreciate the Prime support. Welcome back. I am going to hide this because I want to play it this turn. I don't want them to know it's coming. So we're going to render this soulless and render this soulless. And then we get to redraw 3 cards here. Up to 3. I'm going to redraw these 2 and then skip the 3rd. Wait, what happened? Did it bug? I'm confused. I think our game is bugged. This doesn't happen before. We've played a bunch of this hasn't happened before. It feels like it's hard locked. I can't currently click on anything. Let's find out what happens when we refresh. See if it gets us back in here. Okay, it reconnected back up there, no problem. I don't know what happened to my Ashen Dream, though. My Ashen Dream last turn didn't play. Oh. When I clicked skip on the Ashen Dream, did it skip playing the card instead of skip redrawing? Alright, I'm gonna concede because the whole game's just fucked up because of that. I thought pressing skip mid-selecting cards there skipped one of the 3 redraws. But maybe it just skipped playing my card for the turn altogether. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I don't know if that's that might be the intended interface, but if that's the case, I feel like it really needs a, some kind of help text to make it clear that that's what's about to happen. I have Lab Grown and Shadow Stirrings here. I think we keep all these again. That's an interesting card. Artwork's very pretty too. Hadn't seen that one before. Resolve corpses on your board, summon 2 Defiant Wisps, give them Mana Magnet, then give them +1/+1 for each corpse erased. Wow, that's really good. It's another one I hadn't seen. It's a Joanna specific card. If it's too aggressive, just play out Debased Manifestation here. I feel like it's not. Like, this doesn't have any attack anyway, so like this will just be a 7/7 here. I think I'm gonna do that. Oh, that's kind of a non-bow. This sets this... This increases the HP, but this sets its HP back to 5 each turn. Alright, and then it's turn 3, so I can play this. This card has the mechanic slow. Slow, there isn't a strict resource system in this game. You get to play exactly 1 card per turn, and slow cards are kind of their variation of that. So, slow cards have to wait until a specific turn in order to be played out. So here's the thing, Gruntman. You need to understand how to use your time intelligently to educate people. So someone that comes into a random Twitch stream and accuses Biden of being a fascist isn't someone you could reach most likely. Like, someone who's willing to do that is likely so far gone, engaging with them is a waste of your time. Show that one. I think I'm gonna play another Debased Manifestation here. This thing will be nice and huge. Just try and reach them down here. your time is finite and it's your most valuable resource, and like you could spend, you know, 100 hours convincing someone still supporting Trump that it's like they shouldn't, or I could spend that 100 hours convincing 20 people or 50 people who don't vote that they should vote and their vote matters. Paradox Bomb. That's pretty good. I think we're gonna hide that one because I'm gonna play it this turn. I don't want them to know it's coming, because if they know this is coming, they're pretty likely to deploy a Mana Magnet. Hopefully they don't deploy the Mana Magnet anyways, but we'll see. So this erases this unit here and changes this field spot, so it erases whatever they play here each turn. They did not play a Mana Magnet. Lovely. So you take 18 here. Double the base manifestation early is really strong. So, Prey Waits, you have to understand that in order to address those things, he has to have a majority in the Senate as well. A lot of those things aren't things the president has control over. They might die this turn even, right? We have 18, 21 attack here. They killed one of our things before damage. They're down to 1. Then we just go ahead and deploy Earth Speaker here. Jiminy MN, thanks for the 11 months. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. They are currently... based on polling, they are currently favored to regain control of the Senate, but nothing is a guarantee, Prey Waits. Take nothing for granted, make sure you vote. Yeah. Yeah, that was, our double debased manifest, our double debased early opening was real good there. Yeah, it's likely, but nothing's a guarantee until all the votes are tallied. If the Democrats gain control of the Senate and don't get rid of the filibuster and then grant DC statehood, there's basically no hope for them. Like that's the hope. The hope is that if they gain control, they grant DC statehood, and then that makes it much harder for the Republicans to ever gain a majority there again without changing their party platform. So the Republican Party would either have to die and reincarnate as something else, or basically change what they stand for to attract more people into their tent, as opposed to trying to control a majority with a very minority of the votes. That's not true, Nemesis. In fact, I'm gonna time you out for that. That shouldn't have been a ban. It should have been a timeout. Listen, the idea that the Electoral College is just as good for Dems as it is for Republicans is not based in any sort of reality. Compare who's won the popular vote and who's won the presidency. I believe the Democrats have won the popular vote in 7 of the last 8 presidential elections, and they've not had the presidency for 7 of the last 8 elections. If you would like to play some Fatal Core with me, you can load it up in your browser here. It's completely free to play. Not only is it free to play, but you actually can't spend money on the game. So they're funded completely via Patreon and crowdfunding. People that enjoy the game support them, just like people that enjoy my content support my content here. So there is no pay-to-win aspect. Everything that you have is stuff that you've earned. I mean, to a degree, Mac Attack, what would happen ideally if the United States could support multiple parties is that there's two very distinct factions inside the existing Democratic Party. Like, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, in a perfect world, would not be in the same party as Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders. But the way the two-party system works, it's not safe for them to splinter and still get anything done. So, unfortunately, like AOC and the Justice Democrats are people that understand how the system works and are working within the confines of it in a way that's the best they can do under the circumstances. Hey, the Wargy Corgi, thank you for the 14 months. Thank you for the very generous tier 3 and everything else you've done here over the last year and change. I appreciate it. And thanks for the Horizon Zero Dawn submission originally. That's easily been one of probably my top 2 favorite games that I played in variety stuff. That and Senu's Sacrifice. I think if I had to pick 2 favorites, it's been great. I mean, at one point, I would have agreed with you, and I would have said Biden is center-right as well, but a lot of his policies are just genuinely very good at this point. He obviously isn't going as far as I would like to see him go in terms of providing healthcare to people. Medicare for all would be my preference. Yeah, this hand's great. We've got Debase, Shadow Stories, and Double Lab-Grown Failure. But, like, his position on climate, for example, is, like, actively good. In one of the biggest eye-opening Biden has changed kind of moments for me was during the primary, if you recall, Biden refused to say point blank that the 1994 crime bill was an awful mistake, and it was a terrible piece of legislation that hurt a lot of people unjustly. And during the general election, he changed his stance on that. He said point blank that was a mistake and that legislation was wrong. And that's good. That's the type of thing that we should, ideally it shouldn't happen in the first place, but you should also reward people and acknowledge that it's good when they see this thing that they previously were dug in on, where they're like, okay, this was wrong and I know that it was wrong. Yeah, that's an important change in tone and direction, I think, to acknowledge. Alright, so lab-grown failure is unfortunately not great in multiples. It might be right to just play the 7/7 Debase Manifestation, honestly. That's probably the play. Just get some pressure going early. Is there an in-game message? When it asks you to enter a username, Eric Dared, you've played far enough in. Each turn, give a random summoned creature +2/+2. That's pretty good. I think I'm paradox bombing that. I mean, that's slowly changing, though, Planky Man. Again, like, the Justice Democrats have elected a lot of people at this point. Okay, that's a second manifestation. That could be the key to just racing here. So I have 9 power currently. If I play this manifestation, these will be 6 total. And this will be 9, so it'll put me to 15. I think that's just the play. Hitting double manifestation early is real strong. Oh, this is gonna die. So I counted off. Haha, it was dying anyways. So we're a little bit behind at the moment. They're hitting us for 14. We're hitting for 9 at the moment. Think I'm just playing Shadow Stirrings here. Shadow Strings here. Yeah, have a good one, Gripman. Thanks for stopping in. Feels like we're going to lose this race here. This is going to turn into a +1/+1 spot here for them in a second. I guess I could deploy Earthspeaker of our own, but the fact that I've got these two lab-grown failures just taking up space, they're quite the failure. That's interesting. Neat corpse management card. Also heals you. Well, I mean, that killed the thing, but it frees up space for her, but... Unfortunately just dead. Yep. That was a fast game. A lot of the games in this tend to last the full 12 turns or so, but the deck that we're playing is also pretty aggressive. That was basically an aggro mirror. I mean, there's a lot of poverty in the United States for a variety of different reasons. A lot of it is lack of funding to raise people up. The lack of social safety nets in the United States makes it harder for people to get out of poverty. One of the easiest, most straightforward examples of a class system that keeps people inside of poverty in the United States is how we fund schools. The fact that schools in the United States are largely funded via property taxes means that people that live in more expensive homes get to send their kids to better schools, so people that are ahead get more ahead and stay ahead. All I'm going to say is there is a reason why most of the poorest states in the United States are largely states that vote red. The states that receive the most welfare and have the most issues with poverty are red states. And there's a reason why the Republican Party largely attacks and underfunds and, attacks education for lack of, yeah. They benefit it from there being a lack of education very directly. Earthspeaker playing the Melvidia Mirror again here, it looks like. Earthspeaker on one is pretty good. Get to snowball nicely. They'll probably Earthspeaker on one as well. They have a Soul Sculptor here though too. Maybe it's better to deploy the Earthspeaker to this slot here, because losing an extra attack kind of sucks. That was a good prediction on the opponent's part. I'm gonna go ahead and scatter shot here, I think, because I think there's a good chance my opponent deploys an Earth Speaker of their own. And if they do deploy Earth Speaker, my scatter shot will kill this and the Earth Speaker. Opponent predicted my play very nicely with the Bandit. Maybe I should have let on lab-grown failure in one of these 1-1 spots for that reason. Perfect. And then this game's been a really good example so far of the heads-up information in Fatal Core, really allowing you to dictate and predict how the gameplay goes. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just get lab-grown failure going now. I'm gonna go ahead and play Ashen Dancer out here, hoping to render this soulless. If they deploy a second unit alongside it, we'll have a coin flip to render this soulless. But I guess rendering this soulless isn't even that good because it keeps its base stat line. It'll wipe the 1-1 off it at least. So we drew Paradox Bomb, which they know about, so it feels like they're likely to play Shrine Servant here. I think I'm fine with that though, right? I'm technically winning this race on board at the moment, and if they don't Mana Magnet, that's good for us. Yeah, they just ambushed. And this has Hunt, so it hits my units instead of hitting my face. Merciless Beast here will just get rid of this. Even good. Deal 15 damage to your opponent. Give each spell... 15 damage to your opponent. Give each spell in your opponent's hand slow 8. That's really gross. We're close in terms of the amount of damage we're dealing each turn right now, so deal 15 is a big swing. So now we're behind on damage. Debased Manifestation. Okay, I think I Shadow Strings first here. Shadow Strings first here. This will make a bunch of soulless things, and then soulless things don't get smaller from Debased Manifestation, which is great. They elected to Mana Magnet, that's fine, I have another strings. Which will actually give us an extra idiot this time through. And they're out of Mana Magnets for the time being. So this will get rid of all these corpses and make a 3-2 for each of them in a random spot. And then that'll let us follow up with the base manifestation. That'll get be a 12-12. It's currently only turn 8, so still have plenty of time to go to work here. We're still at 50. And the opponent decide what they want to do. They have this Mind Blaze here that making our card slow 8 is no longer relevant because it's turn 8, but it's just a 15 ball that can help them raise. They also have Grim Harvest here. Okay, so this is going to get a little bit bigger, but we've got a lot more attack than they do. And we're going to get to deploy this manifestation next turn. So they're attacking for 6 and we're hitting for 13. And then we're basically going to double that up with manifestation here. It's pretty easy for my opponents to predict what we're about to do here, but it's definitely the play. This will be 13-13 with the +1/+1 spot. And none of these get smaller because they're soulless. Hit this, hit this, hit this, hit this, hit this. Correct. And their Hunter automatically hits my biggest thing, so he's going to take the hits for a few turns. So 20-6 now. We're going to be dead in a couple more shots here. I think I just deployed Mana Magnet as a way to try and prevent them from catching back up here. Yeah, but I'm just conceding. Playing against Hush this time through. This hand's great. I'm gonna hide Debase Manifestation and Ashen Dream, I think, because this is my payoff and my interaction. We'll get to lead on Earth Speaker again, which is excellent. I think this Malvinia deck's my favorite deck that we've played in this game. It's got a little bit of interaction, and it's got a good aggressive game plan. Start by overwriting this space here. I think this space might actually be worse than the -1/-1 on average. Nailed it. She generated into a -1/-1 spot. That's great. So she'll turn this into a +1/+1 at the start of the turn here. And then I'll go ahead and deploy Lab Grown Failure here in the middle. And then next turn on turn 3, we'll get to Debase Manifestation as a giant monster, which is great. This is not very good against us. We have a lot of units out. Hopefully they don't kill anything here. Yep, did 3 and 3. And then we want this to go in either of these spots here. We want it to not generate here. Perfect. I'm going to hide that because it's a really good piece of interaction. So Debase Manifestation is going to kill this, but that's actually not a big deal if it dies, because then this will generate another one here, which will make this a +1/+1 square, which is excellent. This is pretty close to our deck's nut draw, I think. There's like turn 3 hitting for 14, 15, 16. I'm gonna go ahead and bomb this. Oh, wait, they have a Mana Magnet. With the Mana Magnet in mind... Do I just burn the Ashen Dream? This doesn't matter because, it's just gonna get countered by this. Okay, and now we're gonna Paradox Bomb this because it's rather large. They're a slow 8 card, looking real slow here. Okay, so that's going to add 6 power to the board, but I'm taking off 7. Ha! Oh, this is soulless, so it doesn't get impacted by the erase, right? Yes. Okay. Huh. I guess I'm just passing, right? I don't really have anything to do. I guess I should haunt this turn, so this way if they play this, it gets killed by Mana Magnet, so it can't kill this. So yeah, I should play a spell in case they play the Spell Thief. And then they're dead. Sweet. Almost messed that up. Then I read their cards and realized what the was. I think that was pretty close to our aggro deck's best draw. Let's try the Spirit decks for the last couple. A little bit of a different archetype. Different deck, similar archetypes, another aggressive deck. So Scarred Disciple generates extra things each turn. This pumps up our things. I think I'm gonna hide the Noble Guardian because this is a really good piece of interaction. I don't want them to know it's coming. Target a row on your board, summon Defiant Spirits. Target a row on your board, summon Defiant Spirit into each empty space on that row. Wow, that's really good. That's definitely our turn 1 play. I hid this even though it's my opening play, because if my opponent has a Mana Magnet, I don't want them to know it's coming. Oh, they're probably going to open on Callous Mage. Maybe I should play Noble Guardian, actually. If they open on Callous Mage, this really isn't good for me, because I'm going to make 3 things and they're all going to get smaller because of this. Yeah. Again, that I should take a... Oh, they're doing that. Deal. Deploy the Noble Guardian here. This deals 3 damage each turn, so this will hit the test subject, and the test subject will kill itself, which is nice. As it gets smaller. Oh, this will kill it next turn. Target opposing creature, render it soulless. If you control 3 or more creatures, if you control 6 or more, erase it. It's fine to show. I'm gonna go ahead and deploy Scarred Disciple here. So I can start generating some more spirits. Although maybe I'm supposed to play Prophet of Gears. This makes my things bigger each turn. Yeah, that might be better. This is gonna kill itself at end of turn to make a test subject. Oh no, it has resolve now. Just gonna try and erase this. Cleanse sounds nice here. They have a constant Mana Magnet slot, so I'd like to try and get some of my spells in early if possible. I'm gonna hide this because I don't want them to know that I have it. So ideally, I'd like to not get Mana Magneted off this one. There's a good chance they deploy a unit here to Mana Magnet me, but... Perfect. So that clears out the corpses. So that way I can start deploying more stuff to the board, which is nice. The problem here is these test subs are going to start beating up my board now, too. I think I want a Trimmer. I want to kill this. Oh, this has Mana Magnet. Right? I knew that somewhere in my head. Yeah, it's only turn 7 at this point. I think there's a good chance we're kind of locked out from here on out. Yeah, I don't have any way to clear these corpses out other than spells, and they're just gonna keep deploying Mana Magnet stuff here from here on out. Which means even if I draw a spell that can clear this out, we're just locked out. They're gonna easily catch back up from 59 to 26 over the course of the next 5 turns. How I feel about the design overall on the Sand's great. I don't know how I feel about the design overall on Prisoner 218. Prison-esque stuff feels like it's often a tough sell. Let's see what their opening hand is, or either playing Scarred Disciple or Noble Guardian on one. If it looks like they have a unit they'll want to deploy right away, we'll probably Noble Guardian, otherwise we'll get Scarred Disciple down here in the +2 defense slot to start generating the board with spirits. Well, if they have something, it's going to be hidden. So just turn in the Scarred Disciple. Having Dub's Noble Guardian here should be really good. Alright, they didn't have a Go Wide card to start. Definitely just getting this down. Not only does this start interacting with their board, but also starts making our spirits bigger. And depending on what they do, either play another Noble Guardian or a Prophet of Gears the following turn. Prophet of Gears pumping up the board sounds appealing, though. Getting her down early so she can subsist over the course of a lot of turns to have lots of power is good. Go ahead and get her down, I think. She gives something +2+. She gives 2 things +1/+1 permanently each turn, so getting her down on turn 3 means she's going to get to trigger a lot and grow the board a good deal. Is my chat broken, by the way? I just refreshed my chat a minute ago. I haven't seen any messages come up. Is Twitch having issues? I'm still connected. We're still streaming. Obviously, my internet's alive, but I haven't seen a message in chat in a while. Testing. Alright, maybe people are just quiet today. I see zigzags. It's not the highest power creature on your board, erase him. Interesting. I think I'm just scattershotting. Oh, they're probably gonna incendiary stream here. That's unfortunate, because all of these are together down here. Rough. It's a very, very good draw. They didn't play Incendiary Stream? That's so good for me. I was definitely expecting them to stream my board here. Alright, well I think the fact that they decided to dome us that turn with that spell could easily be our saving grace. Alright, well I'm gonna scatter shot this turn. This will kill this, and I assume they're gonna stream me this time and kill this bottom row. But they let me get extra attack up here. So pretty close to parity right now. We're at equal life total. I'm a little bit ahead on board, but like my board's gummed up by corpses is a real concern. They do have this deal 15 mana blaze in hand, which is concerning still. We're also only on turn 6 though, so I feel like I'm in an okay spot to potentially kill them over the course of the next few turns. Yeah, like, they did 15 to me with that spell, but, like, I'm just dealing 15 with my board presence. Yeah, and this is the awkward part about my current board. I just have to skip playing a card, which is pretty detrimental in this game. We only get to play 1 card per turn. But we are at least ahead now, so we hit them for 12. They only hit us for 4, so we're up on life total now. And we're just going to go ahead and erase this. It's a legal play. Really need to draw a hidden strings or some way to clear these other corpses out, but even in the meantime, we're still doing okay and ahead. And again, just no room to make a play. A skip. This could potentially, if they hit this with the 2 at random. Yep, okay, and then, oh, this doesn't have power from Hunt, so they're dead. Okay. Just needed to, if they would have deployed, okay, so my opponent messed that up. If my opponent would have deployed this bandit here, it would have killed this inside of combat, and then they would have gotten 1 more turn. I don't know if they would have been able to win with that turn, but they wouldn't have died this turn, because this would have had a power to hunt this down. What it deals 2/2 is random, but which position the thing comes up on your board is not random. Yeah, the spirits and the debased manifestation decks are my 2 favorites that I've played in this game for sure. And 2 that we poked at today. Hide the Noble Guardian and the Erase, I think. We're leading on Scarred Disciple or Noble Guardian again. This is like the card we want in our opener most games. Yeah, definitely just Scarred Disciple on the O2 spot. go ahead and deploy Noble Guardian here, because this starts dealing damage to their board and pumping up my spirits. This 1-2 curve is probably the best curve in our deck. They added some new songs in their latest upgrade that are great. Really, really digging the new background tunes. They added some pumpkins to cards too. There were a couple of requests to play cards with pumpkins on them. We completed with the last deck we were playing. So they rendered this soulless, which means it no longer makes spirits, but we got one out of it at least. That's not too bad. Ha! I'm gonna hide this and I'll let them know a second one is coming. Gonna really mess their board up with these. These things are 0-6s, so them going in the -1/-1 slots is nice. And then I think at this point, I am just deploying... I'm just deploying a mana magnet. Because I feel like their way out of this game is to play some spells, because we're pretty far ahead on board, so the mana magnet locks them out of a spell potentially. I can get them back in the game. Get to put the Soul Sculptor here, who starts pumping up our friends too. These are good targets for Soul Sculptor as well. Oh, the old 10-14 Spirit. We've got Spirit. Yes, we do. We've got Spirit. How about you? I think I'm just scattershotting here to help clean up their board. So Scattershot plus these Noble Guardian should put their board in the garbage can really quickly for us. Like they really don't have a catch-up at this point. Is it crazy to just haunt, expecting them to proactively be making corpses out of something? Like, I think they're probably going to Incendiary stream this row here. I don't really have any other plays. if this is fully random or if it is the strongest. Because it's like, it's bumped the Defiant Spirit every time. It's like, miss these. We could just be rolling the 1 and 3 each time, but feels unlikely. Are victorious. Sweet. Alright, so that's going to go ahead and wrap things up for me for this afternoon. Appreciate everybody that hung out through the end. Again, this was Fatal Core TCG. If you want to check them out, you can check out fatalcoretcg.com in your web browser. If you want to see more of their stuff, I've done probably close to double-digit hours worth of them. It's all up on the YouTube channel at this time. I'll be back tonight with my variety segment about 6 hours from now. I'll be back. We're going to be playing through Portal 1 this evening. I never played through that in my youth, and we did a Portal 2 playthrough that was a lot of fun pretty recently, so we're going to dive on into some Portal 1 this evening, and probably, that's only about a 3-hour game, so I'll probably do that in one sitting. I will be off tomorrow morning and Sunday morning. If you're just around for card game stuff, I'll be back with more Runeterra on Monday. Thanks for watching. Everybody stay safe out there. Wear a mask, wash your hands, and vote. Good thing to note, too, if you're voting in the U.S. election, you have an absentee ballot. Do not put it in the mail at this point. It will not get back to be counted on time. Drop it in an absentee ballot box or make plans to vote in person at this point. Peace, folks.